where does literacy begin from? Today we'll discuss what is literacy. When does literacy start? Where does it begin from? What are the benefits of literacy? And why should we care? So, we've agreed that literacy starts right inside the womb. That's where it starts from. There are many definitions of literacy, but my favorite is the one that UNESCO has put out. And it says that literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy is the ability to identify first, understand, interpret, create, communicate, compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. And so it also says, UNESCO also says that literacy doesn't stop, it's a continuum, you're constantly learning. So again, one of the things that challenged me was my father at over 70, closer to 80, and learning new things in 90 on his own. Now, he could have chosen to remain illiterate when it came to IT, because the truth is, don't kid yourself. Anybody today who is not versatile using basic IT tools is illiterate. If you're not versatile using basic IT tools, you have a problem. Because sooner than later, nobody is going to, honestly, you're just going to be so lost and so look so stupid because you've chosen to stop learning. So for instance, your grandkids, my father finds it easy to engage with his grandkids and speak their language and have fun with them because he doesn't stop learning. Your kids and grandkids can pull wool over your eyes and you will look as illiterate as someone who couldn't read and write because they go on social media and they are crazy. You know what my children call me? Mommy, you're a stalker. Because any new one that happens, you better bet you I'm going to, if I don't know it today, give me 2 weeks, I'll figure it out and I'm looking over your shoulders. And my oldest kid is 30, the youngest is 23. I'm still stalking them.
Wow.
So illiteracy is when you choose to stop learning. Because new things will keep developing. So that's my favorite definition of literacy. Now, why does all of this matter? Why does literacy matter? Because it's a fundamental right. Everybody, it's a fundamental right. So, here's the deal. As Rotarians, we have a responsibility to protect the right of every human being to literacy. But it's much more. It's the fact that literacy is fundamental to the development of individual ability. Literate people, and we'll talk about the benefits, are able to do so much more than illiterate people. And we talked about it as a tool for personal empowerment. So literacy empowers you. And that's why we keep talking about literacy of the girl child. And these days we must add on the boy child. Because in different regions, it's a different problem. In my local government area in Africa, I'm worrying now about literacy of the boy child. Because everybody wants to go to bush to go and cook oil. And honestly, everybody has an oil, everybody is an independent oil company. and they are earning more money than Diko Iri earns. So they come to church and they say, it's harvest. They come. I will give her 2 million. Everybody will clap. And then you give them a check, they can't sign it. So somebody writes 5 million and they meant to give 2 million, 3 million missing. Problem of literacy. I'm not imagining the things I'm saying, I'm talking fact. Fact. So literacy is critical. You know, even the fact that you cannot intelligently understand a document is a literacy problem. So you may be able to read and write. You know, I know many people that they speak English here and you dash them money. Plus they speak the English well and in the language of the Queen. But you give them a document and they can't understand the first paragraph because they're not exactly literate. They've learned affection, you know, to use affection tones, yes. They figured out how to do guy around the whole concept of having a conversation. But they really don't understand stringing a sentence together and meaning. Because when we talk literacy, we're thinking is A for apple. It's a lot more than that. Now, so literacy helps to spread awareness amongst people. It's the first step towards freedom. When you're literate, you can truly be free. When you're literate, it's difficult for someone to tell you what is not in the Constitution and tell you that it is there. It's difficult for someone to tell you what is not in any of the holy books, whether it is the Quran or the Bible or whatever other holy book. You know, one of the good caregivers, let me tell you what my kids do to me. I have this bad habit, so I have had to change it. I go to see a doctor. The doctor will speak medical jargon. Then I'll come home and then my daughter has to say, Mommy, what did the doctor say? I said, oh, he gave me medicine. You went to school. What did the doctor say? I said, you should not be stopped. I said, the doctor said that, I don't even know. He has given the medicine. Mother, really? CNN African Journalist of the Year? Really? Former commissioner? Really? You don't know what the doctor said? You don't know what drugs he gave you? Mom! I said, children, they are using me with style. It's not about illiterate. And they were correct. Because then I go to see another doctor in a different place, and then he says to me, I'm so misunderstanding, what did the doctor say? And I'm like, and this is me, when my kids were young, I would be able to tell the doctor everything that happened. Then suddenly, I just imagine and I dedicate my medical health, my well-being to the doctor, and I don't ask questions. So that's what literacy does for us. A doctor says, you know, in this country, the nurse will do take your baby, then walk away. I call her back, I said, excuse me, what was it? It's not as if I'm an illiterate. I said, please, can you let me know what was it again? They do your blood sugar. Oh, madam, it's okay. What are the numbers? Okay? Or somebody gives you medication, I tell you, my father does that a lot. They give him medicine. Even when he's very ill, they bring the medicine. He says, what medication do you want to give me? I'm like, Daddy, it's okay. And I said, it's not, I need to know. What are you giving me? I need to be sure. Because that's why someone might be diabetic, and you go, I want very wonderful nurse, just gives you sugar, it gives you dextrose. And doesn't, and then it just puts it in your body, and then you go into the arithmetic. Reading, writing, but it's not just that. Functional literacy also indicates the ability of a person who is literate to discharge his economic, social, and civic duties in an efficient manner. So if you say you're literate and you're not able to properly discharge these duties, then you're not literate. And that's why we talk about education before the colonial masters came. We had functional literacy. When you know, when I was researching this topic, and thank you very much. No, it wasn't your own topic, it's the independence lecture. But one of the things I found out was we never really know that the very first place when they do all their tracing that there was life was in Africa. Africa is the oldest continent. So when people talk of Africa as the mother continent, that's what it means. It's the continent that birthed all other continents. And as far back as 13,000 BC, before Christ, there was indication of technology in Africa. Ironwork, and so on and so forth. As far back as 13,000 BC. Just some fun fact to play with. Okay, so this is a lunch meeting I have to run. So, what are the essential ways literacy can affect a country? Quality of life, we've talked about that. Economic impact. High literacy rates will mean better economic impact. Lower mortality rates because people are literate, they will take medication and all that seriously. Let's talk a bit about even social impact and political impact. When people are literate, nobody is going to say to you, don't worry, just give me your voter's card. Just submit it to me. And you submit it. We'll go and look at the school you went to. Because it means that your literacy is not functional. If you don't know that your voter's card is not something you give out to somebody. But if you exchange it for a mess of pottage, then it was straight by barter. All right. So adults need strong literacy skills. And why do we need strong literacy skills? We need strong literacy skills because we have to raise children who have strong literacy skills. And what that means is that you should daily improve your literacy skills. When last, and I'm going to go around the room, please. Who read a book last week? Last week. Let me not start with today. How many people in this room read a book last week?
I do.
How many people read a book last month?
No.
By a book, you mean the compilation of pages of things that were written? Or if I read a leaf? How do you call it?
No, I would rephrase that. I didn't say how many people read a page, although I would work with a page, at least you read something. But I'd like you to read a book. How many read a book last month? A book.
See, IPP.
Excellent. Okay, how many people read a book in the last 6 months? A new book. A new book in the last 6 months.
Me.
You know why this? You know what I've just done around the room? We're not growing. We're not growing.
Sorry, you mean read a book or how many person completed a book?
Okay, don't worry. Did you read it even 25%? If you had started it and read it 25%, it's okay, you can still raise your hand. Okay. It doesn't qualify. Alright, the point I'm making is that every time you don't read, you stop learning.
Yes.
And you can read it on Kindle.
Yeah.
I love to turn pages, but you can read it on Kindle. You've got to read. You've got to read. You're just static. And these days that people don't even read newspapers anymore. Everybody's on social media reading Facebook, 2 posts, 1 paragraph on Facebook. Learning is, that's why we have become, forgive the use of the word, barbarians. We're not reinforcing literacy. All right. So adults need strong literacy skills. The more you read, the stronger literacy skills you build. You need them to raise children who have strong literacy skills. You need them to be good employees. Because every time you read about what developments in your field, you become an invaluable asset to your company. Because you are the cutting edge of technology. You know what's happening. You know the latest things. In your business, you will outpace your competition because you know what's going on. Your strong literacy skills help keep you and your family healthy. It helps you avoid crime. And I'm serious. Because you see, ignorance of the law is no excuse. But if you didn't read about it, then you don't know, and there can be infractions. You need it to be active in your communities. You need it to advocate for yourself against human rights abuses. So that's on an individual note. How about on a communal note? What are the benefits of literacy in our communities? They provide better employment opportunities. You find that in certain communities, in fact everywhere, those who have the most jobs are those who have at least 2 years postgraduate qualification. At least 2 years. 2 years post-secondary qualification, I meant to say. There's increased community involvement. If you have more literate people, they will be more involved in the community. There's improved personal well-being. So why should the Rotary Club of Amadi support literacy? Here are some reasons. Children who can read and write confidently generally find education less challenging and benefit more from in their academics. Development of good literacy skills lends itself well to independent learning. Literacy skills are closely tied in with communication and problem-solving skills. Supporting literacy development can lead to improved cognitive ability throughout childhood and beyond. Supporting early literacy can help benefit parents or carers, and you can identify when a child has a learning or a language disability if you have strong literacy skills. If you support early literacy development, if your child or if a child within your environment has dyslexia or is autistic or learns differently, you will know because you started trying to groom that child. And when you spot this at a young age, it's crucial to getting the children appropriate support so that they can develop literacy successfully. In conclusion, literacy rate around all the globe is different in different countries. The countries in which individuals have a higher level of education are more prosperous and better developed. Such countries have better economies and even their population begins to drop. Literacy has become a crucial factor in leading a good life in the contemporary age. The future of every country depends on its education level, and literacy is responsible for the same. Rotary President and my dear friends, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.